My name is Ken Bailey. I promised you that I would read a story to you today. This book called Worth Your Salt, and I'm going to read the first chapter of it today. Like I said, I want to read one chapter a day so I don't take up too much of your time, but gives you an opportunity to hear the book. I've had a lot of people ask me to do audio books, but just not really ready to do that right now. But I thought, well, I'll just do this a little bit at a time and see what you think about it. So I'm going to read the first chapter of it to you today. And we'll begin right now. Chapter 1. Don Williams was singing Turn Out the Light and Love Me Tonight on the satellite radio as I cruised down the highway in my royal blue Corvette at the posted 65 miles per hour. As soon as I heard the song coming on, I reached over and turned up the volume. It was not a song I wanted to listen to at a normal level because it reminded me of a woman I had loved and lost due to my own stupidity. An electronic billboard on my right informed me in vivid moving colors there was a truck stop up ahead serving chicken fried steak, down-home cream gravy, and pecan pie. I was hungry, and it had been a long time since I had eaten at a truck stop. I saw the neon lights long before I got to them. Dozens of idling diesel trucks were parked in even lines in 4 areas of brightly lit parking. There were lots of cars around it, too. If I hadn't known better, I would have thought the greatest chef I had ever known was there. But I knew that was not possible. He was a little busy someplace else. I pulled up so that I could look out at the window and keep an eye on my car. Not that I really thought somebody would run off with it, but you never know, right? The interior of the restaurant was brightly lit, and a hum of chatter filled the room while waitresses hurried around with arms full of plates and hot pots of coffee that instantly made my mouth water. I passed a carousel of homemade pies of all kinds, and I knew I would be eating a slice of one of them in about an hour. I sat down at a booth and looked out at my girl. She looked purple under the lights. She also looked fast. She was. Twin turbos under the hood made sure of it. I named her Helen, after Helen of Troy. The woman was a famous literary figure I read about in my youth, and I hoped my books would become famous in literary circles one day. She inspired travel, and my Helen will certainly inspire me to do some traveling as well. And lastly, like Helen of Troy, my C7 Corvette was beautiful. An attractive blonde waitress came up and presented a breathtaking smile and flashed beautiful brown eyes. She was wearing a name tag that read Alex, which I suspected was short for Alexandra. She was about to speak when I held up my hand like a traffic cop at her. The dazzling smile ceased, but she couldn't stop the dazzle in her eyes. She looked quizzically at me. Do that again, I said. Do what? She asked lightly with the hint of a smile. That CoverGirl entrance and smile, I said, flirting shamelessly, as I have always had the tendency to do. Now her smile lit up like a candle. Careful, hon, she said. I'm a single woman who has never ridden in a brand new Corvette, and you talk about me making an entrance. Well, one does have to get from point A to point B, but aren't you worried about riding in a car with a stranger, I inquired. Oh, I'm not worried about you, she said plainly. Why? 2 reasons. First, you can't be a serial killer because your car makes you too noticeable. And second, I don't have to worry about you shoving me into the back seat of your car because your car doesn't have a back seat, she said, smiling. We both laughed at that. It was one of those unfortunate aspects of some very nice 2-seater vehicles. Well, did you just come in to flirt with me, eat, or drink a cup of coffee? Yes, in that exact order. Need a menu? She asked, pulling one from under her arm. I hadn't even noticed. Probably because I was checking out the rest of her, although her apron was causing me some difficulty. I expect you know what is best to eat here. Why don't you tell me what I should have? I asked. She looked back at the kitchen and pursed her lips and thought. It made me wonder what kind of a kisser she was. I had learned long ago the shape of a woman's lips tells you nothing about her kissing ability. Besides, the best kiss is the one where you know there is no other place she wants to be or no other man she wants to be kissing than you. She turned back to me and said, the cook we have is really good. Almost everything here is tasty, but the French dip is my personal favorite. The French dip it is, I said. And to drink? Iced tea, light on the sugar. Fine, she said, flashed me another perfect smile, and then spun around and walked back towards the kitchen. It was then I caught a glimpse of her backside, and my mouth fell open. She was a mature woman, but had a face and body like a collegiate cheerleader. I could not imagine why someone had not snatched her up long ago. But then again, maybe she had already been married. Perhaps she was divorced or widowed. I decided I was going to take a shot and see if I could find out. After all, I knew I was going to be coming by this restaurant a lot in the coming year. I peered out at my girl again. She was still sitting there waiting on me to return, her engine cooling down but ready at any moment to take me to places I've never been before. When I turned my attention back to the truck stop restaurant, I kept feeling like there was something different about this one, something unlike from when I was washing dishes on the weekends at a truck stop when I was 16 years old, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I looked at the condiments on the table: ketchup, salt, pepper, Tabasco peppers, and vinegar. Napkin holder, everything seemed fitting on the table. I looked up and saw fans turning slowly above everyone's head. The smell of coffee, grilled beef, and French fries filled the air. A wall-mounted jukebox was playing country music, although it was newer than what I had listened to as a teenager. Then it was Loretta Lynn, Johnny Cash, George Jones, and Patsy Cline. Now the voices were different, and the songs a little bolder, but it was still country, steel guitars paving the way. A woman got up out of the booth. She was sitting with 3 other women and walked to the jukebox and shoved some money into it. A moment later, Elvis Presley singing Suspicious Minds began to play. The hot little number I had pulled as my waitress came walking back up to my table, flashing her killer smile, and set my glass of iced tea on a napkin. I thought that was special. No waitress had ever done that for me before. It was very thoughtful. "You a real cowboy?" she asked me. I knew she was talking about my jeans and Tony Lamas. I was likely the only man she had seen dressed in this fashion in a good while. "If you mean do I work on a ranch branding cows, the answer is no, but I was raised in Texas and jean boots are common there." "But this isn't Texas," she countered. "You can take the boy out of Texas, but not Texas out of the boy," she finished for me. "Exactly." "What kind of work do you do?" she inquired. "I'm a writer." "Really? What do you write?" "Novels, short stories, plays, whatever suits me at the time, but mostly novels." "What kind?" "I like espionage and adventure, but my readers like my love stories." "Love stories? I would have thought you would write cowboy books." "I did write one. It is a story of a bull rider and his girlfriend, but I just recently published it." "Is it a good story?" "The first chapter got me the editor I have had for about 8 years now. She's a Texas girl herself, and she is a wonder. She makes me look like I know what I'm doing." "I'm sure you know what you're doing," she said, and pointed to my Corvette outside. "I really don't think I'm a good writer, but I do like to tell stories," I said to her. "Why is it I get the feeling before the night is over I will hear one of your stories?" she asked, and walked off, smiling again. And suddenly it hit me. I knew what was missing in this restaurant: cigarette smoke. As a teenager working as a dishwasher, I had worked in a thick cloud of perpetual smoke. I thought nothing about it then because all restaurants allowed smoking in them, but things changed and some restaurants partitioned off sections of seats for smokers so non-smokers would not be exposed to the smoke. But now, no restaurants allow smoking on the premises. And with that thought came another one. This one had admiration mixed with a searing slice of sadness. Furman. I remember the first time I told my mother about Furman. She wanted to know what a Furman was. I remembered laughing about that, and then I explained Furman was not a what, but a who. Furman was the most remarkable kitchen chef I had ever seen in my life. And now that I think more about it, I can equate him to the dozens of chefs I have known since. I still think no one compares to him. Not only could he cook and bake, he knew how to turn around a restaurant and make it profitable, regardless of how small it was or where it was located. He was a restaurant master. But more important than that was how Furman turned me around. That's chapter 1, and I'll be reading chapter 2 tomorrow. And like I say, if you've hit subscribe and everything else, then you'll be notified when the video comes out and it's available for you to watch. I hope you're enjoying the story. I got a lot more to tell you, a lot of surprises coming your way. See you tomorrow.